World's Fair, Connecticut used this room as the reception room. When the Potters had the house moved here, they converted it into an office. Mr. Potter had his office here, and he could greet visitors right at the door and conduct his business in this room. We also have it set up as an office, although it's not really used as an office right now. One of the rarest pieces of furniture we have is a Wooten desk in this room. I say it's very rare because even though Wooten made 4 grades of desks, this is the highest level desk he made. It's called superior grade. In 30 years of looking at Wooten desks, this is the only superior grade desk Ellie and I have ever seen. It's really that rare. We know there's another one in California, but those are the only 2 we know about. He made very few of these over a lifetime. Most of his desks were of lower quality than this. The way you can tell this is a superior grade desk is that if you look when the desk is open, you can see the feet are covered as the desk is closed with that skirt around the bottom. The lower 3 grades of desk all have the feet sticking out the front. The 4 grades of desk that he made were called ordinary, standard, extra, and superior, and this was a superior grade. It was custom made.
Customer got to choose what kind of inlay and pediments, and this grade also had enamel gold hardware on it.
The person buying the desk was able to pick all the design elements that went in the desk, so they helped design the desk. All the others were factory made and shipped pre-made. So of the 4 grades that Wooten made, the lowest grade desk called ordinary sold for about $90. This desk sold for about $750. $750 in current money is a little over $15,000, so it's a very, very expensive desk at the time. We know that John Rockefeller had a Wooten desk, and Joseph Pulitzer had a Wooten desk. Ulysses Grant, President Grant had a Wooten desk, and we don't know what levels they were, but we know the Ulysses Grant desk was a lower level because the Ulysses Grant desk is in the Smithsonian Institute. Smithsonian has 3 Wooten desks, but they do not have a superior grade like this. We actually found this desk at an auction in Atlanta. We saw it in an ad. We drove down there and purchased it, and then we decided when we first saw a Wooten desk that we weren't going to buy a Wooten desk until we found a superior grade. We had no idea at the time how rare they were, and so if we hadn't bought this one, we still wouldn't have one because it's the only one we've ever seen. Okay, so when you open the Wooten desk, the lid drops down for the writing surface, and the top flips open. There are over 100 different storage compartments in there. On the right side of the desk, you see these little square cubby holes. Wooten shipped this desk with cardboard trays in each of those cubby holes, and you can pull the tray out and store stuff in there. The cardboard trays are very rare. Most desks do not have them anymore. We saw a desk that went through auction the other day that had the trays in there, but the trays are different sizes, so we weren't interested in that. I've tried to find those trays online, but because the Wooten desks are so rare and so expensive, if you have a Wooten desk with trays in it, you're not going to sell the trays and throw the desk away. You're going to repair the desk. So therefore, those trays are never available online. There's a mail slot in this desk. If you look on the outside of the door, there's a little brass slot that says letters. And if you drop a letter in there, it comes out on the inside behind this mirrored door. So if a person would lock the desk at night, his mail could be deposited in there and it would be safe until the next morning when he got it. The other side, the letter trays on the left side. On the right side, it's a dummy and there's simply a nameplate that says William Wooten Desk Company. There is a hidden compartment in this desk. You can't tell it by looking, of course, because it's hidden. And I didn't know this until one of the visitors came through and told me about it. What they've done is they've made one of the drawers shorter than the other. So if you look at these 2 drawers, you'll see that this one is shorter than the other. So that inch behind the drawer, the shorter drawer, is the hidden compartment. We have a block of wood in there so that when you shut the drawer, it shuts the same distance as the others, but you could make a compartment or you could store stuff attached to the back of the drawer, and that would be your hidden compartment. Okay, the other major piece of furniture in this room is this bookcase, a very nice bookcase. We had trouble finding a bookcase tall enough to fit in here that was the right style. We had another one in here before, but it just didn't carry the room. So we like this bookcase a lot. If you look at the top of the bookcase, the piece at the top of the bookcase was used when we designed the kitchen, because we designed part of the kitchen cabinets based on the look of this cabinet. So the doors in this cabinet and the crest in this cabinet were used in the design of the kitchen. If the kitchen's on the tour, they will be able to see that.
So in addition to Indiana paintings and ceramics, we also have a lot of books by Indiana authors and music by Indiana composers. So this bookcase has a lot of books by Indiana authors.
When we put the collection of the books together, we did not seek museum quality books like first editions or signed copies because they're much more expensive. We simply wanted to have a bookcase that represented Indiana artists, and so some of these are first printings, second printings, or whatever. They're much less expensive, but they still show the same thing. We don't consider that a museum quality collection of books. We just have that to show people the depth of the culture that Indiana had through their authors.
This bronze is Dance of Awakening Day by Tuck Langland. He's one of the top bronze artists in the country. He did a 40-foot bronze for the Federal Reserve in Oklahoma City, and he also did major bronzes for governments and businesses all over the world.
4 other pieces by Tuck Langland. There are 2 in the sculpture garden that are key pieces, and then we have a piece on the back desk in here, and we have a small piece in the drawing room. One thing that's interesting about the bronze pieces, which we didn't know when we started looking at them, is we're used to looking at bronze pieces like on the plaza in Italy somewhere, and they're all look like bronze. But the bronze artists today paint the bronze. So this bronze is bronze to look like bronze. The piece we have in the back is black to look like black. The piece in the garden is green to look like green. So they don't look like bronzes that we expected. There are 4 pieces of ceramics in this room that are interesting. The one that we really treasure is the lamp on the table in the back. That lamp was made by Audrey Rossman, was a very important ceramic artist in the area. She's been deceased for many years. We couldn't find any of her pieces for sale, so we started telling people that we just couldn't find Audrey Rossman. So we had 3 different people donate Audrey Rossman's to us, but this piece came from the family. The family donated over 10 pieces of Audrey's work for us, so we're really happy to have this piece and be able to represent Audrey's work in the collection.
And these outdoor sculpture forms on the floor are by Bob Pulley from Columbus, Indiana. And we went to visit him, and these were out on his porch, and we bought them right where they were, and they're really wonderful pieces. He does a lot of very earthy things. He's the first artist we visited that had any kind of bronze, so we bought a couple of very simple bronze pieces from him. And he said, if you want to be serious about bronze, you need to go visit Tuck Langland and Granger, which we did later. So we have a wonderful collection of bronzes by Langland also.
The other ceramic piece in this room is the piece over here by Marvin Bartel. It's a dictionary stand. Back when he made this in the late 60s, obviously everybody used dictionaries. You wouldn't need a dictionary stand anymore. So it's kind of an unusual piece because they're just not around anymore. But when Ellie and I went to high school, all of the libraries had dictionary stands in the library with a dictionary on it. There are 6 paintings in this room. If we go around the room, by the door, there's the Women on the Porch. It was painted by T.C. Steele in 1899.
Steele was known as the master of light, and you can see the wonderful atmosphere he captured in this painting.
The piece on the far wall on the right of the front window is called Munich Village Scene. It was painted by T.C. Steele. It was painted in 1885. That's one of our favorite T.C. Steeles. He did this 2 or 3 other times that we've seen, but this one is by far the best of those. He was able to capture that backlight on the figures and the mist rising, and so we think that is one of our best T.C. Steeles. Whenever somebody has a T.C. Steele show, they always like to borrow that one. And then the other T.C. Steele we have in this room is behind the door, and it's called The Cloisters, and it was painted in 1884 while he was still in Munich. And we have 2 paintings of The Cloisters. One is painted in 1882, and one is 1884. The one in 1884 is a much richer, deeper, more dynamic piece. We like it a lot.
This is William Merritt Chase, and he was from Indiana, but he left when he was 17. He never came back to Indiana for whatever reason. And when he went to study, his professor told him he had no talent. So he decided he was going to show him. So one night after class, he removed the hook the professor usually used to hang his jacket during class. And he painted a trompe-l'oeil one in its place, which is a very 3-dimensional looking hook. So the next morning, the professor came in and hung up his jacket, and it fell to the floor. So he picked it up again and hung it, and it fell to the floor. So he just left it there for the rest of the class. And I guess William Merritt Chase proved his point.
When we started collecting Indiana art, we didn't consider him as an Indiana artist in the sense that he never painted in the state. Once we ended up with a museum quality Indiana art collection, we thought, wow, we needed William Merritt Chase, and we were able to get this still life. His Shinnecock landscapes are millions of dollars, so we feel very fortunate to be able to have him represented in this collection by that piece.
This painting is by Adolf Schultz. So he was a Wisconsin artist, and this was done while he was still in Wisconsin. And his favorite piece is he would put a little symbol on the bottom, and it would be like a circle with a couple lines out that looked a little like a wheelchair. And you can see this has the wheelchair on it. And later, when Steele moved to Brown County, Adolf Schultz and his wife Ada would go down there and paint, and later move down there permanently. His earlier works were very precise and had a lot of detail like this, but his work in Brown County was much more casual.
Okay, when we moved into the house, there were no ceiling fixtures in this room or the parlor across the hall. There were no ceiling fixtures anywhere on the second floor. So one of the first things I did when we started remodeling the house is I wired this room for the ceiling fixture, and then Ellie and I found this basket chandelier at an auction. There are two of matching pair, so we have one in each of these two rooms. The beads are very old. It's a very old chandelier. When we bought it, we thought, well, we'll take all these beads off and restring it. We bought the wire, and as soon as you touch those beads, they are so fragile. They're glass, but they split in half. So we decided we couldn't clean it, so this is exactly the way it was. We bought it. We had the wiring part of it rewired and the brass polished.